Good morning students, welcome to the session on data structures. In our previous lecture we have discussed about the queues, and in our today's session we are going to discuss about circular queue and double-ended queue. Why we are going for circular queue and double-ended queue, you see this is how we will be inserting and deleting the elements in your queue. I can say just I will zoom in for you people so that you can clearly understand what we are doing in the queue. Okay, see this one. In a first step, we will be having the front and rear both ends. Rear is an end from which we will be inserting the element. Front is an end from which we will be deleting the element. Initially, they will be at minus. And whenever we are inserting the element, I will be incrementing the value of rear. Rear will be incremented to 1. And whenever I am deleting the element from your queue, then that will be incrementing the value of front. Okay, insertion of element will be called as NQ and deletion of element will be called as DQ. That we have studied in the previous sessions. Okay, see in this way, when I am inserting the first element, I will be incrementing the value of rear, and whenever I am inserting the second element, I will be incrementing the value of rear again. In the same way, when I am coming down, when I am inserting element from one by one, then your rear will be here. See here, the rear value will be stayed at 4th position and front value is at 0. Okay, if you want to delete the element, I will be beginning from 0 and then 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4. Whenever I am reaching the 4th position, when I am deleting the content from your queue, then it will be incrementing the value of front. Front is represented with the green and rear is represented with red here. Just try to understand, whenever I am incrementing the value of front, it won't delete this complete element, just it is incrementing the value of front. Means to say that index will begin from that. So we are wasting this memory. In order to not happen that, see here, when I am reaching at the 4th position, then front and rear will become same, that is 4. Then I can say that your queue is not having any element, but initially you see at the 0th position, 1st position, 2nd position, 3rd position, we are having the element. Just we have incremented the front value. In order to not happen that, I will go for circular queue. What it is? Circular queue. In order to overcome these difficulties in your linear queue, whatever the queue that we have discussed just now, they will fall under linear queue. And circular queue is a queue where we can insert the element even after reaching the maximum size. See, my circular queue will be like this. Okay, this is also an array which is having maximum size as 5, as we can see here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is 0th element, 1th element, 2, 3 and 4. So consider my size of array is 5. Then I will be incrementing the rear value like this one. Rear and front both will be initialized to 0 here in case of your circular queue. Then when I am inserting the first element at the rear will be incremented and rear value will be locating for the next location. That is, rear will be incremented not like this. Rear, when I am inserting the element, I will be not doing rear plus. It will be incrementing up to 4. Again, it will be saying that we have reached the maximum size. But in order to not happen that, what I will do is, rear is equals to rear mod of size, that is maximum size that we are having. That I will be doing. Here you see, if I am reaching the maximum size, my rear will begin. See, initially it is 0. After the value insertion, it will be incremented. That will become 1. Again it will become 2. Again it will become 3. Again it will become 4. And after this, if I am trying to insert the element, rear value will become 5. My size is 5 again. 5 mod of 5, which will give us 0. So I can insert the element at a 0th position. Sir, already we have inserted one element at the 0th position now. Then how you people will check means then I will be checking for the friend. If my friend value is equals to 0, then I won't allow you people to insert the value. If it is not equals to 0, then you can insert the value at what? 0th position. Like this, I will be inserting and deleting the elements in your circular queue. It is one more style of your queue, I can say, where we will be not wasting our memory. Even after reaching the maximum size of your array, you people can insert the values into your queues, I can say, by using the circular queues. And we are having one more queue, that is circular queue. Circular queue, not circular queue, it is double-ended queue, I can say. Okay, it is double-ended queue. Now let us discuss about the double-ended queue. Double-ended queue is a queue. Double-ended queue is a queue where it will be called as DQ. Okay, where we will be having front and rear options. Rear is an end from which we will be inserting the element. Front is an end from which we will be deleting the element. That is what we have learned in the case of linear queue. But in the double-ended queue, you can insert the element from the front, you can delete the element from front end. Okay, you can insert the element from rear end, you can delete the element from rear end. You can do both the operations at the both ends. That is the reason we are calling that as double-ended queue. Double-ended queue. See here, in this case, we can perform insertion and deletion operation from the both the ends, I can say. That is the reason we are calling this as double-ended queue. And in the double-ended queue, we people will follow FIFO and LIFO, both the structures. FIFO and LIFO. First in, first out, as well as last in, first out. Both the structures can be followed in case of your double-ended queue. These are two variants of your queues, I can say, that is circular queue and double-ended queue. Do remember about the circular queue and double-ended queue. Why? Because they are very important questions for your 4 marks. Okay, as per your academic syllabus. And apart from this, we are having one more topic which has to be discussed here. That is your applications of queue. What are the applications of queue? In generally, your queues. Hello students, welcome to the session on data structures. We are going to discuss about the applications of queues. Applications of queues. Okay, in general life, you people will be using the queues whenever you are going for tickets, whenever you are going for temple. Okay, you people will be following the queue. Okay, the first problem that we are going to discuss is Josephus problem. This is a famous classical problem, I can say. By using your circular queues, people will be solving this problem. In order to understand this, you need to take an example that if you are having the soldiers group which are surrounded by enemies. So consider these are the soldiers surrounded by enemies. They are not having any option to escape from them. They are having one horse by which only one soldier can escape. Okay, when they have surrounded by the enemies, they have decided that they need to kill themselves. Okay, but killing themselves will become a suicide. Then they don't want to do that. Then they have decided they will be forming a circle and they will kill other soldiers which are beside to them. Okay, and they will start a counting and they will be killing someone in the group. And here you people need to have the idea from which soldier it should start and to which soldier it should stop. Okay, so consider if we are taking an alternate positions, then they consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 soldiers are available here. Then they have decided that alternate people should kill someone. Okay, then say consider the count is 3. Then they will be starting from 1, 2, 3. Then third soldier should die. Okay, he will be killing third soldier. And again the count will begin from 4 and 1, 2, 3. The first soldier will die. Okay, again the count will begin from second, 1, 2, 3. Then fifth soldier will die. And the count will begin from 2, 1, 2, 3. Then second soldier will die. And the fourth soldier will remain in the queue. And he can take the horse and he can go and he can escape from them, I can say. That is what the Josephus problem. In this particular thing, you need to understand in what position we need to start the instruction, in what position we need to delete the operations. Okay, and the second thing that we are going to discuss is job scheduling. I can say in your operating system, in your computers, where we will be having number of jobs which will be executed in the system, they need to have some queue, they need to be executed in some proper manner, I can say, where they will be entering into your system. In the same way, they need to be executed by your processor, I can say. That will be done by your queues, okay, by following the queues. That is first in, first out. Okay, whenever our jobs enter into your system, then those jobs should be executed by your CPU, I can say. In order to execute them by the CPU, you people need to plan to which process we need to give the processor, to which application we need to give the input output devices, so that they can complete their execution. Okay, and the third application that we are having is simulation. In some applications, in some certain situations, we will be following the other person, those who are in the queue. For example, if you are going for a bank, then if you want to deposit the amount, if you want to withdraw the amount, then you people will be having different queues for them. Then you should not have any idea what we need to do by going there. Why? Because in the queue they are waiting for their turn to withdraw, their turn to deposit. Okay, we will be following them in order to complete our task. No need to have the better idea. Okay, no need to go to your manager, no need to ask them what I need to do in order to deposit them. Just follow the queue. By following the queue, you people will be completing the task, I can say. That is the reason we are saying some problems will be solved by using the simulations, I can say. In order to do the simulations, we will be having queues by which we will be simulating the things, I can say, simulating the situations, I can say, using the queues. Okay, these are the three applications, I can say, you need to remember about your queues. Okay, I hope it is clear to you people. See you in the next one. That's it for now. Thank you.